My name is Paul. I am 70 years old. That morning I had to go to the hospital. My legs were weak, so I called a taxi. When the taxi came, I held a small box in my hand. Inside the box was a watch. The watch was old and silver. It was not just a watch. It was my wife's watch. She wore it every day before she passed away. I opened the box and looked at it. I touched the glass. It was cold and smooth. My heart was soft when I looked at it. I whispered, "Hello, Anna." That was my wife's name. The driver turned his head. "Sir, did you say something?" I smiled a little. No, I just talked to myself." He laughed. "It is okay. My mother talks to herself too." I nodded. I put the box back into my pocket. My hand stayed there. I did not want to let it go. The taxi moved fast through the streets. I looked outside. The trees passed one by one. The sky was grey. The sound of the car made me sleepy, but I forced myself to stay awake. I could not risk forgetting the box. The driver tried to make small talk. "Sir, do you go to the hospital often?" "Yes," I said. "I am old. My body is not strong now." He gave a short laugh. "My father says the same." I smiled, but inside my chest there was a small pain. I thought of Anna again. She used to sit beside me when I went to the hospital. She always held my hand. Now the seat next to me was empty. Only the watch was left. I held the box tighter. I told myself, do not lose it. Do not forget it. The taxi stopped at a red light. I looked outside. People crossed the street. Some walked fast, some walked slow. Life moved on. I sat there with my box, feeling both heavy and warm inside. The driver said, "Almost there, sir." I nodded. I touched the box again. I thought, this watch is my treasure. I must keep it safe. The taxi stopped in front of the hospital. The driver said, "Here we are, sir." I took out some money. My hand shook a little. I gave it to him and said, "Thank you." He smiled. "Take care, sir." I opened the door. I stepped out slowly. My knees hurt, but I managed. The air outside was cool. I took a deep breath. I walked to the entrance of the hospital. I reached into my pocket for the box, but my pocket was empty. I froze. I put my hand in again. Nothing. I checked the other pocket. Nothing. My chest turned cold. No, I whispered. My voice broke. I turned back quickly. The taxi was moving away. I waved my arms. I shouted, "Stop! Stop!" But the driver did not hear me. The car went down the street and was gone. I stood still, my heart beating fast. My legs felt weak. I almost fell. People walked past me. Some looked, some did not. One young man asked, "Sir, are you okay?" I shook my head. No, I lost something. Something very important. He looked down the street. "Do you want me to run after the taxi?" I sighed. "No. It is too late. It is gone." He patted my shoulder. "I'm sorry." Then he walked away. I sat on a bench near the door. My hands trembled. My eyes felt wet. I whispered, "Anna, I lost it. I lost your watch." I closed my eyes. I could see her face. She was smiling like she always did. She used to say, "Paul, don't be careless." Now her voice came back to me, and I felt like a child who broke a promise. I wanted to scream. I wanted to run after the car, but my legs could not. My heart was heavy like a stone. I thought, without that watch, I have nothing left of her. The noise of the street was far away now. I only heard my own breath. Short, hard. I whispered again, "It is gone. It is gone." And in that moment, I felt like the whole world was empty. I sat on the bench for a long time. My hands kept moving, searching my pockets again and again. But I already knew. The box was not there. I stood up slowly. My knees hurt, but I forced myself to walk. I went to the hospital gate. A guard stood there. I said, "Excuse me, Did you see a yellow taxi just now? The guard shook his head. No, sir. Many taxis come and go. I tried again. Maybe you saw a small silver watch? He looked at me with soft eyes. Sorry, I did not. I thanked him and walked inside. My chest felt heavy, but I still had hope. I went to the front desk. A young woman sat there. I asked, "Did anyone bring a watch?" "A silver watch in a box." She frowned and shook her head. "No, sir. Nothing today." I pressed my hands together. "Please, if someone finds it, can you call me?" I gave her my phone number. She nodded. "Yes, sir, I will." I walked away. My steps were slow. The hall was full of people. Some talked, some waited. I felt alone in that crowd. I sat on a chair in the corner. I leaned forward. My head rested on my hands. My mind was loud. "Paul, you lost it. You lost Anna's watch. You cannot get it back." I closed my eyes. I wanted to cry. I remembered the day Anna gave me that watch. She had smiled and said, "This is old, but it is full of love." Now the love felt far away. A man next to me asked, "Sir, are you sick? Do you need help?" I shook my head. "No, I just lost something." He gave me a sad smile. "I hope you find it." His words were kind, but they hurt too, because I was not sure if I could ever find it. I sat there in silence. People moved around me, but I was frozen. For me, time stopped. I thought, maybe the driver will find it. Maybe he will bring it back. But another voice inside me said, "No, it is gone forever." The hope in me was small, but I still held it tight. I sat in the chair for a long time. The hospital was busy. People talked, phones rang. But I felt alone, like I was in another world. My eyes were wet, my hands were weak. I whispered, "Anna, I'm sorry, I lost it. I lost you." Then suddenly my phone rang. The sound was loud in the quiet corner. I looked at the screen. It was an unknown number. For a moment I did not move. My heart beat fast. My hand shook as I picked it up. "Hello," I said, my voice small. A man's voice answered. "Sir, are you Paul?" "Yes," I said quickly. "Yes, I am." He paused for a second. Then he said, "Did you lose something in my taxi?" My chest jumped. My breath stopped. I whispered, Yes, a watch. A silver watch in a box." The man laughed softly. "Yes, I found it. It was on the seat." I closed my eyes. My whole body trembled. Tears fell down my cheeks. I said, "Thank you. Oh, thank you. That watch is my life." The man was quiet for a moment. Then he spoke slowly. I could tell it was important. I did not want to keep it. "I thought you might call." I pressed the phone hard to my ear. "Where are you now?" I asked. "I am near the hospital," he said. "I can come back." My lips shook. I could hardly speak. "Please," I said, "please come. I will wait here." He answered, "Of course. Wait by the front door. I will find you." The call ended. I held the phone to my chest. I took a deep breath. My tears still ran, but they were different now. Not just pain. There was light inside them. I whispered again, "Anna, your watch is coming back. You are coming back." I stood up. My legs were weak, but I walked to the hospital entrance. I waited by the door. My eyes kept looking down the street. The world looked brighter. For the first time that day, I felt hope was real. I stood by the hospital door. Cars passed. People walked in and out. But I only looked at the street. My heart beat fast, like I was young again. After a few minutes, I saw a yellow taxi. It slowed down and stopped near the gate. The driver got out. He held a small box in his hand. I walked toward him, my legs weak but strong enough for that moment. He smiled when he saw me. "Sir, I think this belongs to you," he said. He placed the box in my hand. I opened it quickly. Inside was the silver watch. The glass shone under the daylight. My chest felt warm again. I held the watch tight, my eyes filled with tears. "Thank you," I said. My voice broke. "This watch, it was my wife's. She passed away. It is the last thing I have from her." The driver's face changed. His smile faded. He bowed his head a little. "I understand. My father also keeps my mother's things. She is gone too." For a moment we both stood silent. Two men, two hearts, both carrying love and loss. I reached out my hand. He took it. His grip was strong, but gentle. I whispered, "You did not just return a watch. You gave me back a part of her." He nodded. "Sometimes the small things are not small." I put the watch back in my pocket, close to my heart. This time I kept my hand there. I would not let go again. The driver said, "Take care of yourself, sir." I answered, "And you too, young man. You gave me hope today." He got back in his taxi and drove away. I watched until the car was gone. I touched the watch through my pocket. I felt Anna with me, not just in memory, but here, close, warm. I looked up at the sky. The clouds were still grey, but the light broke through. And in that light, I felt the world was still kind. I whispered, "Thank you, Anna. Thank you for still being with me." Then I walked into the hospital, but my steps were lighter than before.